hello.
That was good.
I had the jump ready to go, but I wasn't really prepared with what I was about to say.
I didn't know if you were doing like a goal thing, like Telemundo, or just like a general upbeat. But I liked it.
I was
the
thinking
energy.
I was thinking saying hello, but when you start hello with an O.
Hello.
Hola. Yeah, I should have said that. I should have.
Hey.
Dude,
Next
time.
week. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Danny.
Hey, I'm Casillas.
And welcome to TLDR FC, the podcast for the fellow soccer curious. How's it going, buddy?
Just like us, we're soccer
Yeah, we're
curious.
curious.
Yeah.
We're curious, man.
Dude, it's great. I mean, like, I think we should just get right into it. We got some news today. Today,
I know what
big
you're
news
talking. Let me see. Let's see what you're wearing.
I don't know if you guys can see the crest for those watching. This is a throwback Chicago Fire kit. I don't have any of the recent ones, but now I gotta.
You gotta.
I gotta, because you tell them why I have to get a new Chicago Fire. Our team.
Oh yeah, Chicago
the team
Fire.
we root for.
Hometown has just signed a pretty remarkable player.
Jeez.
And we're pretty excited about it, Mr. Bobby Lewandowski. Robert Lewandowski is a remarkable talent by
he's so good.
All measures.
He's so good.
I know unfortunately not enough about him.
Sure.
I know like the quote unquote TLDR. I don't know if you have more insight.
Yeah, I mean I don't have, I wouldn't say much more insight as you do, but I do have, like many players that I know of listeners will be like, oh, drink at home if Casillas brings up FIFA, because my relation to Robert Lewandowski is through FIFA.
Sure. Where
I, back when I had roommates, I lived in a place and we loved playing FIFA. Me and my roommate Raul specifically, shout out Raul. And that's when I played Liverpool. I told you this.
Sure.
And Mo Salah was my guy. So Liverpool was my team. I always played with Liverpool, and I love playing with Mo Salah. Raul's team was Bayern Munich when they had Robert Lewandowski, and he loved Lewandowski. We actually had a like kind of a tournament. We were really the only two at the house that play, like others. Our other two roommates also played.
Sure.
But we played all the time, so we had like a running tally of wins between us, and we had a thing. I think it was like first to 10 wins. If I had got 10 wins, he had to buy me a Liverpool jersey. It didn't have to be Mo Salah, but I preferred for it to be Mo Salah. And if he got 10 wins, I had to get him a Bayern jersey. Same thing. Didn't have to be Lewandowski,
for sure.
But
it was gonna be.
It was gonna be, and he did get the 10 wins.
Oh, did he? Okay.
I got him the jersey. Ended up being too small, so I got to keep a Bayern Munich jersey.
Wait, so you still have it?
I still have the Bayern
and
Munich.
Is it Lewandowski?
No, it was I was too cheap. I just got the regular no name on the back. But
okay, yeah.
But like
now there's still time.
There is still time. Well, now I got to get a Fire one.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited. His claim to fame is, outside of being just a fantastic football player, soccer player, he is famous for having one of the most remarkable games of all time.
Dude, he's just so smooth.
I believe it was when he was playing for Bayern Munich. He scored 5 goals coming on as a sub in 9 minutes, which is unbelievable. I don't think anyone has even.
I watched him in an interview talking about it, where it was like, I think they asked him, what's a game? Have you seen this interview?
I don't know.
They were asking him, what's a game or a day that like you really felt it or like stood out, and he was like, the 5 goals game.
That one, of
course.
Like
he couldn't even deny it. But
and
he said, like, I don't even know what came over me. It was just everything was going in
perfect.
That day.
Yeah, it was really, really remarkable to watch the highlights for. So highly recommend looking into that. But also, he's just been incredibly consistent. Obviously, he's in his late 30s now, and
maybe 37, I think.
Yeah, not beating the MLS retirement accusations.
Sure.
But
I mean, he's still so good. Like, yes, probably his peak was at Bayern Munich, but then after Bayern Munich, he goes to Barcelona.
Right.
And thrives in Barcelona. Like, it's so many goals, does so many trophies, wins so much in Barcelona, and is now, he didn't go like back to his home country, back to a lesser league or anything like that. He's coming from Barcelona to the MLS.
Chicago.
He might be older. Messi's 40 or he's almost 40. You know, it's like it's a different age. that I think it's
well,
not
and
like,
I've seen. I mean, if you look him up on Instagram, this guy is unbelievably ripped and
I was gonna
ready
say
to
handsome.
go. Oh, and handsome. He's a very cute guy. He's a very cute Polish man, and he's got a wonderful family. I'm not trying to get in the middle of that, but I do need to call a spade a spade.
I love you already.
But he looks really, really prepared, and I for one am incredibly excited because he had a lot of, there was like this talk has been going on for a long time. A lot of people were considering, if he was like a good fit for the Chicago Fire,
Right.
and they had obviously been courting him for a long time. I think like upwards of like 5 years ago. It's like it's been going on.
Well,
because
I think we had some sort of like rights thing. Once we get into MLS history, I know there's like a thing of like players can have rights of the MLS but still play in Premier League. I don't know if it's going to change with the MLS schedule shift, but there was something like that of like we kind of had the first dibs at talking to him.
Sure.
I think that's what it was. And I think we might have talked about it on the pod where there was, or maybe
when he was being
before,
he was being courted and they had the billboards welcoming him to the town. It was very corny, but
no, it was
very fun.
It's what
Chicago.
you have to do. Chicago
has one of the largest. He himself is Polish and from Poland, and Chicago has one of the largest. I believe it has the largest Polish population. Chicagoland, that is, has the largest Polish population outside of Warsaw. So it is a pretty intensely Polish area, and so I, for one, am very excited for his play, but also just for the culture that it's going to bring for the club, and hopefully a lot of new fans paying attention to what already I think is a really good start for a new chapter for the Fire, who 100%. Have long been pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
So
my high school had a big Polish part of the high school. I think it was like 30% Polish.
Yeah.
Or something. And then I told you this, my mom and my stepdad got married around where my high school is at a Polish banquet. Like,
right.
There's a lot of like just Polish community here. There by where my grandparents live, there's the pierogi fest that I love to go every year.
right across the border. Right?
In Whiting, Indiana.
Right.
And so there's just I think it makes sense. I'm not saying that like, oh, just because there's a Polish population, but I'm sure it didn't hurt.
Oh, of course.
To lure him
of course,
over here.
yeah. Especially, I mean, I think about how, you're not only, especially at his age, you're not only moving yourself, you're moving your family.
Exactly.
And so finding a place where you can all call home, hopefully, I guess that it's not required. There is a chance that I guess that he could decide not to like make this his main spot and only stay for the 2 years that his contract is for or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it is still just a really cool idea that, he could theoretically, have a place here that's not, completely sticking out like a sore thumb. If anything, probably welcomed unfortunately more than other types of immigrants and different people from different places.
No, yeah. And on the like Fire side of it, it's so cool to now have a guy. Like, we have good players. We obviously talk highly of the Fire every week. And like once the season starts up, that's the team. We're going to get into every MLS team, but we're obviously going to root for our home city team.
They're our guys.
Yeah, and like they're building the new stadium.
They're third in the East at the moment. So once we get into the MLS, we'll like get into, the everything about it and how that's actually pretty impressive. They're fifth, tied for fifth, I believe, in the Supporters Shield section. So they have the fifth best record in the entire league. So it's like they're already doing well, and to sign
now, we have this
name
piece that like I just feel like it's going to bring everything together. I don't want to get hopes up too high,
of course,
but it's just so hard not to when you get a player like this in a team that's already. And I'm sure that's what he saw too. He wasn't going to come to a team that's like floundering in the MLS because he's you don't know how he thinks. Maybe he's like MLS is already technically kind of a lesser league just in terms of talent. And then am I going to this team that's not doing well in this league? But now it's like a team that's doing well enough that I can fit in seamlessly.
You can succeed. You don't have to be their savior.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
And that's the exciting part. I also saw Berhalter, Greg.
Yeah.
Not Sebastian.
That's right.
But he, I don't know if you saw this. He was already on an interview talking about it.
Talking about him?
Yeah. I think it was
cool.
like the Kay Adams show. It was like an ESPN podcast, and she was like, "You can announce it." He's like, "Yeah." And he was obviously saying stuff like, "Oh, he toured the facility, said this is the best facility I've ever seen." Berhalter could just be blowing smoke, but
I'll say
it is a nice facility.
The facility was just built like a year and a half ago, so
Right.
it's a
It makes
really
sense.
new, should theoretically be state of the art, So
And he said that hopes are, if all goes to plan, he will make his debut July 16th.
which is insane. I was telling
Fingers
Ashton about
crossed,
that.
yeah.
By the way, Ashton is my wife. I called her my partner in the last recording. And it's like, why did I call you my partner? I panicked when I said that because I was like, I didn't want to like give too much about her away, like without her permission.
No, I
but
thought it
then
was
she like was
beautiful.
listening to it and she was like, "Why'd you call me my partner?
Oh,
Your partner?"
I think that's why I'm laughing, because I'm like, that
You
sounded
you
like
remember?
that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I do remember. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, that's you guys' relationship. I'm not
right,
gonna.
right.
But I'm like,
she's my wife. I hold the microphone with my. She is. I am betrothed to her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was telling her
Beautiful
about,
wedding too.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, good stuff. This guy officiated it. We're getting too into
Yeah.
the weeds. I don't want to give too much information.
I'm so
but
sorry,
He
but
was
yeah.
a big part of it. Let's just say. So
Best nights of my life.
so yeah, I think that it is kind of a crazy turnaround because we're literally only about 2 weeks away from his
Seriously,
debut.
yeah. And
theoretically.
it might be, they might push it.
But it's one of those things where this guy is they're kind of giving him the keys to, be in the driver's seat for this, which
he deserves though.
I think that he's earned it, and hopefully, the team meshes with him but I feel like, we have a somewhat of a surrogate connection with like someone on the team just simply by like age and familiarity and
Right, right.
high school blah blah blah, and so the idea of being a similar age as some of these guys on the team, or even some of them are younger and they've grown up with this guy. I always think about it when they're playing against Messi, but I always thought about like, what would it be like to be the teammate of Messi,
like
and so
he's in the building now.
right. And obviously like, I think Messi's in his whole other league and whole other echelon of talent, but it would be hard not to kind of theorize the conversations that are being talked about and the things that you can learn from such a talent like
ball knowers know that Lewandowski is one of them,
Right.
that it's just like he has the resume, the skill set, like he's going to be in there and the young guys are just going to soak it up. They're gonna be like this, oh my God, like
it's so exciting.
The career he had at Bayern was already a Hall of Fame career. Then the career he had in Barcelona was a Hall of Fame career separately.
Sure.
So who knows, what could happen with the Fire, that it could also be an MLS Hall of Fame career. Again,
love it.
I'm getting too excited.
It's just exciting to have this prospect and this thing that has long been rumored, but to finally be signed down.
And I think it's funny that it happened today on, a day that we record. Like, that's why also I'm sure we're going to listen back to this. Like, we were hyped at the beginning.
We were so excited.
Because all day we've just been excited. Peek behind the curtain. Danny texted me over the weekend and he had seen that it was essentially official, but it wasn't officially announced until today. Cause I mean, news dumps never come out on the weekend. So it kind of has to be on a Monday, but he had sent me that he was like, he signed, he's here. And I couldn't find it I was on Lewandowski's Instagram. I was on the Fire's Instagram. I was on like news sources and I was like, who is your source?
Yeah.
Where are you getting this? And Danny was like, Reddit. And I'm like, of course. Yeah. And it was true.
Reddit.
It happened. And today was the official, even if I was going to wear my Fire jersey regardless, if it didn't happen today, but we knew it was going to more than likely happen. It's happened. And now we're just,
oh, it's so clean too. It's got the patches. It's got the actual. It's not like tacked on.
Quakers
and stuff.
no longer are. I gotta get the Carvana.
I miss. Do you though? I miss the Quaker.
Yeah,
I miss the Quaker.
It's so kind of like it's just I love it. This is one of my. I think I found this at a thrift store.
Really?
Yeah, and it's
beautiful.
Yeah, I only have throwback Fire jerseys. I need to get a modern one.
Modern ones are nice. I'm excited.
I like them, especially with the collar.
I like that. Yeah, I like the collar one, the all red one, and then the I got myself the municipal one where it has like kind of, if you look very closely, it's a little bit more unlike the authentic one.
Yeah.
It's more pronounced. But I'm not paying like $90 more for that. But it has the Y of Chicago on it, which is a cool little motif that's used in a lot of different Chicago like the waterworks and like the bridges and all the different stuff like that. And so I love those little touches. So that one's a cool one, and I also like it because it's like a kind of a grayish blue, and I feel like I can wear it to a lot of different things and not have to be like, completely, oh, he's wearing a Chicago Fire jersey. It's just kind of anonymous enough. I don't know.
No, yeah. I usually also, I never get like names on the back just because I'm like, oh, you never know what's going to happen or anything like that.
Yeah.
This might be one that
one's one that I feel like
I got to get the name.
It's going to go like multi-platinum in the Chicagoland.
It better.
I hope it does. And I think that's honestly a big reason why they signed him too, is just knowing that huge bump of people who are literally just coming for him.
Yeah. Danny's going to track the follower list for Chicago Fire.
Yeah, they started this morning, and this was obviously like way after these talks have been going on. There have been a lot of the talks have been going on, like I said, for a long time. But I checked this morning, and they were at like 285K, I want to say, or 287 or something. And then I haven't checked, but I think that they, even just like a few hours ago, they were like 295. So they've already gained 10K.
It's growing.
And so it'll be interesting to see, especially the MLS is like posting him a bunch too. So like it'll be interesting to see. I feel like there's going to be a huge bump.
He posted a video with the kit on. And
stuff,
did
and
he? It had the. You didn't see it?
No, I didn't.
I gotta send it to you. It had a Fly Like an Eagle, the Space Jam, music playing, and I think
really?
Bud's like, "Oh, you're ready to play now?"
Oh,
and he
dude.
it just pans up, and he has the whole fire fit.
That's
I
so
gotta
sick.
send it to you.
Oh my gosh,
I gotta send it to you.
To think that I couldn't get more hype. Oh my god, that's so okay. We gotta stop going.
Yeah, we'll move on from this.
It's
just the news just came out earlier today. We were so excited, but.
That's
Lewandowski's
so
in Chicago, and also Chicago Fire. We hype you up all the time. Send us some jerseys. Hit us at a game.
We'll continue the hype.
It's
not like we're
praising you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, dude, who else we gotta praise?
Yeah,
Paraguay.
Oh, dude.
Holy crap. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. We got a lot of group coverage that we need to get into, but Casillas and I were just watching the end of the Germany-Paraguay knockout match.
Literally right before we hopped on, it just finished.
Wow. Holy moly.
Oh
I did not expect that. That was not in my, hundreds of thousands of brackets are broken out there.
Well,
now.
if you haven't seen or you're just catching up on what's going on. Germany is a powerhouse, has been a powerhouse at the World Cup and just international football for years. They've have 4 stars on them. So who you're getting when Germany shows up to the party.
Right.
And Paraguay, who we actually talked about last week, only been to 9 World Cups, has never been farther than like the out of the group stage. They just beat Germany. Not even an hour ago, they beat Germany in the round of 32 to get to the round of 16. It was a 1-1 game at the end. Goes to overtime, goes to penalties. And
wow, that penalties too. I mean, to those who haven't seen the first shot from Germany is blocked.
The goalkeeper was on one.
He was on it. Yeah, and it was this immediate like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
That changes everything, because that means that Paraguay, if they don't miss, then they got this in the bag, you know? And of course they missed. Not the next one, but there were a few that they missed, or one that they missed, and then one that was blocked or whatever. Yeah,
it was hilarious because we're watching it, and the goalkeeper blocks Germany's first shot, and then Paraguay makes their shot. Germany makes their shot. I think it goes again like that. And then he blocks another one. So now, for those that don't really understand penalties, you get 5 shots each.
Right.
And basically, it's like the best 3, right? Or
whoever has like the most out of 5.
Out of 5. So if you've hit 3 and they've blocked 2, you've made it on because they can't get any more, kind of thing, right? Sure. I might have the math wrong. But it was something like that. So basically, because they got those 2 blocks, and I think Paraguay had missed like 1, but they were still ahead on the thing. They just had to make one more of their last 2. And of course, they missed both of their last 2. So now it goes into a new round of
sudden death.
Yeah, of like first team to miss and then make is now going through. Right. And we were just kind of like, that's 2 chances in a row. And then when it gets to the 6th chance, Germany goes again. dude absolutely goes over the.
He whiffs it. He had like a field goal. It was like out of football.
So now Paraguay has their third chance in a row, and we were both like, if they miss this, it's just a destiny that they're not going to win.
There's no way.
Yeah, but
and they hit it.
He made that last one. So the drama was real.
The drama was fantastic. This is why, honestly, when we were watching, and just sitting there watching, I'm like, this is why you watch. Yeah, this is why you watch the whole game too, because they have been fighting tooth and nail this entire time. Germany just had like 40,000 corner kicks. They were like, there were so many moments that they could have had it, and in fact, they had a moment where a goal was taken away from Germany because of interference with the goalie. And so like there was these moments of just push and pull and ebb and flow, and it was so fun to watch. But what a game. This is definitely up there on like one of the best ones that I think that we've seen so far. And obviously with it being knockout, it's just like the stakes couldn't have been higher too. Obviously against Germany, they had a lot of sites, I think that they I don't want to speak too far for them, but like it really didn't seem like they had this as an option for them. Like I don't think
Germany.
I think that they didn't anticipate this at all.
We were talking about it's just a different dynamic of like when you're a smaller country going in, where you're like, hey, just play our game, see how far we can do. Everything is kind of a win,
right?
Like we saw in the group stages where there was just countries getting a goal and they were celebrating like they've won the whole thing, but it's because they have never had a goal in the World Cup before.
Sure.
And then you have these powerhouses that are like, no, these are expected wins. These are things that are just supposed to happen.
Right.
And that kind of emotion of like I can't imagine being a German fan right now of like, this isn't supposed to happen. Like, sure, you can't expect to win every World Cup, but you still have that kind of belief like we're one of the teams that will make it to end, and if we lose in the semifinal, okay, well, that happens. But to lose in not even the round of 16, the round of 32, which is a new addition to this World Cup, which is like just an extension of the group play at that point too, but it's still a one game elimination. You gotta show up, and I'm not saying Germany was going in like they already had it in the bag, but that had to be in the back of their mind.
Yeah,
and they were trying. All shouts to Paraguay and the goalkeeper, but like it got to be disappointing for Germany.
Oh yeah,
it has to be.
Yeah.
And the German fans, it's just I can't even comprehend it. It's so wild to me that they're out at the hands of Paraguay.
I had no, especially after their first game against Curaçao. Mind you, it was Curaçao, another very very small country. I think actually the smallest to ever make it.
Yeah.
They won 7-1, so it was like, I remember thinking, who's going to stop Germany?
Yeah. They looked so unbeatable. Like they were just really going to be there at the end. And now the whole thing has shifted. Now it's just like this giant is out. And we just have to accept that. And it's crazy. I was going to bring this up later, but I think it's probably relevant now, of just watching the games has been amazing from an outsider's perspective of just like, oh, these are fun games. Oh, a goal scored here. Oh, like the things when they happen, it's exciting. Watching it when you have rooting interest, is absolutely agonizing. It's the freaking worst.
Oh my God.
It's because, and I think that's the beautiful thing about soccer, and what I think both of us have been learning as we watch more is the criticisms that people have about it are actually the things that are probably most beautiful about it, of like the low scoring, the when something happens. Because when you have actual rooting interest, when we're watching a Mexico game, when we're watching a USA game, and we want a certain thing to happen, every breakaway, it becomes so heightened. Every possible scoring opportunity becomes the most intense thing you've ever seen. And then it doesn't happen. You get this relief for a second, but now maybe the team you're against is on a breakaway, and that becomes heartbreaking. And then when they score, you're like, oh, what are we going to do? But then you score, and it's like, okay, we're back. And it becomes this push and pull that is so exciting, but so agonizing.
And it's not like, oh, okay, now it's your turn. It's not like so many of the other, American sports that we have, that we are so used to going like, okay, now it's your chance to answer or whatever.
Right. I've
That's
scored,
not
now
entitled.
you score. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like, you get possession of the ball or whatever. It's like, it's all based on, one team could dominate the entire game. That's okay. And obviously that does happen, but like, there is that, within baseball, you go, okay, now it's your turn to bat.
Right.
You can answer.
This is your inning.
Yeah, exactly. This is your spot to put points on the board, but that can change so quickly in soccer.
There's no guarantee of anything.
Exactly. And I remember this, obviously with us just getting into soccer, we didn't have the podcast at this point, but like a few months ago when I was watching a Chicago Fire game, they had a draw against the Columbus Crew. And I remember watching that entire game and being like on the edge of my seat and hooked to the entire thing because of just how many chances each team had against each other and how many saves and how many, like there was this, like I was saying before, this push and pull of like drama and stuff. And then to have the final literally just be 0-0, no points.
I'm sure that still felt satisfying.
Honestly, I was going to say, I feel like they got lucky by getting out of that, and by getting it a draw. And it was that one of those aha moments from this sport that I was just like, wow, I understand like how interesting this can get even when the score doesn't reflect it.
If you just take part of the whole game, you see all the nuances. Like I'd be very interested after we get off the pod to look at the stats for this Germany-Paraguay game, because I wouldn't be shocked if Germany technically dominated.
Oh yeah, no, their possession numbers were insane. Yeah, and they had, like I referred to before, they had so many corner kicks, and I was thinking it's bound to happen. Like they're bound to be unable to defend one of these at some point, simply because of how many they had. Just the arithmetic of it.
It just never happened.
It just never did.
I get it, at the end of the game, it was 1-1. So
so I guess it did happen once. Yeah,
but it also broke for Paraguay.
Right, exactly.
And even though they didn't dominate in the same way, they got a chance and they capitalized off that chance, which you're not always going to. But the fact that they did was able, because then at that point there could have been doing the park the bus situation of like, let's just get it to penalties.
Right.
Because at that point, who knows what could happen? Game. And literally what happened, Paraguay goes.
Crazy.
So it's
crazy result.
It's just so funny too that both these things, Lewandowski and then Paraguay beating Germany, happens before the pod. So we're just so hyped up at the beginning.
Like jittery all day. Yeah, exactly. You know what? Let's get to some lower stakes games.
Right.
Well, we still got to cover the group stages. Obviously, now we are well into the knockout stages within the round of 32. We've even got one literally starting at this very moment, Morocco versus Netherlands. So if you are double screening it, to all those out there,
mute the game. Higher the volume on this. And it'll be a nice experience.
Exactly. But we're going to sum up what happened last week.
Let's do it.
So let's do it. Okay, so Monday, June 22nd, we had 3 different games.
Yes, sir.
France versus Iraq. France won 3-0, and they secured their spot in the round of 32 in some capacity. They didn't technically win the group at that point, but they were pretty dominant as usual.
That was a game they had in hand.
Yeah, exactly. And poor Iraq. I mean, they just had the group of death. This, if you follow on Instagram, on TikTok, I've tried to sum up some of these eliminations.
Beautifully done.
I think. Well, thank you. I appreciate you. Iraq just was dealt a bad hand. So.
I think they were also a country, respectfully, that were happy to be there.
Absolutely.
It just you were there, you were at the dance. That's what matters.
Then we had Norway and Senegal that same day. That's from the same group, and Norway won that one 3-2.
Closer than I would have expected.
Honestly, a little bit. I think Senegal is kind of getting slept on because again they're in that group of death.
Right.
But they've been able to really kind of show out. They spoilers later, they ended up beating Iraq 5-0. So it's like they have some stuff to work with for sure, and they're definitely a team to look out for. I like them a lot. But Norway again also with this win secured their spot in the round of 32. They didn't win their group. We'll get to it later. But then the last game that night was Jordan versus Algeria, and Jordan lost that one 1-2. And unfortunately, that was the end of Jordan's run in the World Cup.
R.I.P. You will be missed.
But they this was their first one, as we alluded to previously. So it's props to them. They scored a goal, I think, in all of their games.
Another country that's happy to be there.
Exactly. So next game we had Portugal versus Uzbekistan.
Yeah, these are now the Tuesday.
That's right.
June 23rd games.
You can take it away.
Okay, yeah. Portugal versus Uzbekistan. Portugal scored 5 goals on them, and Uzbekistan scored 0. This was the game that Ronaldo fans finally came out of their shells.
They were like,
we told you. We told you. We always knew.
Messi's not there.
But good for Portugal. I think after the first week it was very doom and gloom, and now perhaps they've righted the ship a little bit. I mean, it was Uzbekistan, not necessarily the toughest opponent, but still to score 5 goals in a World Cup game, nothing to sneeze at. So
nothing to sneeze at. You heard it here first, folks.
Then we had England versus Ghana. This one was surprising.
This was really surprising.
No goal scored in this one, 0-0.
Yeah. And this was with a fully stacked England squad.
Yeah, these were still the games. I want to say this was their second game of the group play. So it wasn't like it was England was taking it easy or anything like that. They wanted to win.
Yeah. There were a lot of familiar faces and just could not get a goal in Ghana. Ghana was they had a pretty impressive defense. So
yeah, the African countries have just really shown up for this World Cup.
I believe of the 10 that qualified for the World Cup, 9 qualified for the round of 32, which is very impressive. That's so the first time to happen. So and it was. I mean, we'll get to it later. I do remember. It's so funny now. These games were a week ago, so it kind of like remembering the things that happened. It feels like 40 years ago.
Because so much happens.
So much that has happened.
It's hilarious. But I remember England being like, it's not the end of the world. And in a way it wasn't, but also like you're England, you know?
You really don't expect that.
Yeah, not to score 1 goal. It was surprising.
I think it said less about England and more about Ghana, though, to be honest. Because honestly, watching the gameplay, they seemed like a pretty evenly matched team. Like, obviously there were certain elements that both teams did better, and Ghana was more on the defense versus England was on the offense throughout the majority of it when it came to the possession. But if you can't get a goal, then you can't get a goal. Like, that's how you win the game.
That's a great.
You heard it here first, folks. That's how you win soccer games. You get a goal.
More goals means the team will win.
Yeah. We're really, really hard hitting journalism.
If you want to take anything away from what we tell you, it should be that. Next game we have was Panama versus Croatia, where Croatia won the game 1-0.
Yeah,
which was good. Croatia needed this one. I think that very similar to Portugal, they had kind of a rough start out the game. I believe their first game was England, right? And it was
4-2. They lost. Yeah,
it wasn't really looking good. I think it
wasn't too decisive. This not nearly as decisive as Portugal's against Uzbekistan, but still
to get the win. I think also I really like Croatia. I think they're a team that's kind of aging, and they, not to say their best runs are behind them, but they've had really good runs in the past, and I'm not sure based on where they were in the group and things like that if perhaps the same things will happen. But who knows? It could be a team of destiny situation, and they kind of righted the ship with this win against Panama.
That's right.
And then the next game we have was Colombia versus DR Congo, which Colombia won with 1 goal versus DR Congo's 0. And I believe this was the game.
This was the game. Yeah. The man
up?
that I've been referencing this entire time, they call him Lumumba Ve, I believe. Lumumba, I believe.
Yeah, Lumumba.
He is the super fan for DR Congo who stands up the entire game in a salute. He does like a wave. And he was able. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
For those that are just listening, I tried to recreate it. Not as good. He looks great when he does it.
Yeah. No, I don't tell Lumumba, but Casillas looked even better.
Thank you.
But he stands in this and this position the entire time. It's very impressive. He's in
90
a full suit
minutes
too. And he does it. I had referenced how he does it for a particular reason, and I couldn't quite remember the specifics. And so rather than looking like an idiot, I decided to not say anything, which I feel like should be the right thing, especially for white people out there. Fellow white people, if you don't know what you're talking about, just shut up.
Just don't say it.
I'm going to hopefully stick to those words. You know what I'm saying?
But have you since found out why he does it?
Yes, I found out. So he dresses up as Patrice Lumumba. Okay. And he is the famed independence hero of the Congo.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's to honor him and to honor a statue of him. So it's a really impressive, especially with DR Congo's celebrations throughout the entire. They are an ecstatic fan base.
They're going crazy, but he's just right there in the middle. If you watch the game, or if you even watch some highlights, or maybe just it came across your feed, I was telling Danny was the first person I knew that knew about him. But then because he was having some visa issues, he couldn't be at the first game,
right?
And then he was at this game.
This
and
was in Mexico, so it was that's how he was able to.
And shout out Mexico. But he was able to go to this game, and everyone was posting about him. And my boy Danny had it first, but it's just really awesome to see, or just amazing to see. And I think I had seen something too that he said he hopes that it inspired the players, like when they could see out into the crowd, everyone cheering, but then they could see him looking like this independence hero and give them kind of a boost, which is just awesome. This is the things of soccer and the fandom of soccer that are the best.
That was so beautiful. I was gonna compare it to the Harlem Shake.
We can still do it. I want to know.
Well, just if you remember the Harlem Shake, it was like it's kind of a reverse Harlem Shake, in that the first person is dancing and everyone's standing still, whereas in this case everyone is dancing and he's standing still. So
it is a reverse Harlem Shake. Yeah. Oh man.
And with that brings us to Wednesday, June 24th. We had Switzerland versus Canada. Switzerland pulling off the win against Canada 2-1. Not much to say about this. I don't know if you have anything about it. Yeah. Boring. Shout out Switzerland. That's us. That's us calling ourselves boring.
Yeah, because we didn't have a good enough analysis for this one.
That's right.
We weren't tapped in.
This was a six game day, so this was a tough one to wrap our head around. So the next one we had Bosnia and Herzegovina versus Qatar, which Bosnia, B&H as I like to call them,
that is what you call them,
won 3-1, which effectively knocked out Qatar from the tournament.
Another country that I'll keep saying this for the ones that I think happy to be there.
Yeah.
So
they won the Happy to Be the Year award.
Yeah, we should have that after it's all done. Who are the happy to be there?
Yeah, right.
Who are the contenders and who are the disappointments?
Then Scotland and Brazil headed down all the way to Miami Gardens to play in Hard Rock Stadium. And if you know anything about the Scots, they don't fare well in that type of weather. And wouldn't you know it, they're
not a heat
that's
type
right.
of people.
No. They're very similar to the Irish. And
they loved Boston.
So, yeah, but they fit like a glove in Boston. Right. But they were not built for this. So they faced Brazil and lost to Brazil 3-0.
Little disappointed in it's Brazil. I get it's Brazil
for sure. They seemed very depleted, and I wouldn't be surprised if the heat had a lot to do with that. But I also sense. Just it's that thing. It's the disappointing thing. We're just you hope that they do better, because they did show promise in some of their other games.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, it's Brazil. Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Then Morocco versus Haiti was the next game that day. And for a second, Haiti looked like they were about to pull off the upset against Morocco. Obviously, Haiti had been eliminated from the week before, but Morocco ultimately answered hard, winning 4-2.
Morocco has been looking good. I think
Morocco's still this game that is currently happening right now, I'm like eager for us to shut up and stop talking so that we can
check it out.
We can check it out, because
it's Morocco versus Netherlands that's happening right now.
That seems like an instant classic right there.
Yeah.
Take this one, baby.
Then we got, I see why we got me next. It's Czechia versus Mexico, where Mexico won 3-0. It was awesome. I'll just get into it now, just as we're moving through. It was just awesome. It was a game that we didn't necessarily need. We had already won the group. We sat a lot of guys. Guti didn't play. Raul didn't play. Quinones played, which was surprising. He had scored. Has scored in the first game and has just been absolutely balling for Mexico. I love Quinones, and is just a good goal seeker. Like he is trying to get goals. I believe. Now I'm blanking because the second goal was cool, because it was kind of like we were around. This is actually where I wanted to say this stuff earlier of like when you're watching a team that you're rooting for, it's kind of agonizing. Because the second goal, it was like we were so close and it kind of batted off. I think he was actually the one that shot it, and it like batted off a player's back, and then someone was able to like run in and score it.
Right.
But even that, like, is it going in? It was, oh, it bounced off. Oh, someone comes flying in. That was like so fun to see and so cool at that. But it was still like, what is going to happen? But regardless of that, it was just really cool that because even though they didn't necessarily need the game, they still showed up like they wanted to make a statement. They wanted to prove like, hey, we are really here. I mean, Czechia, I believe talked about Czechia last week, not a rich World Cup history, but to still like, they were trying. They were still, I believe at that point they were eliminated, but they still were trying to get some goals. They were
I think that they were on the brink of elimination, and like a win for this would have really helped them.
Right.
But
That's
it
what
was, I think it was they needed a win to make any kind of difference. And so once Mexico, I think once it was like 1-0, I think that you could kind of see it in their body language of like, okay, we need 2 goals. I don't know if we could even get 1, you know? And it's the unfortunate thing where the mind games, I think, probably start playing a lot of like the time running out and just seeing these opportunities kind of slip through your fingers and then being exploited by what is essentially a home team too.
No, yeah. I mean, it was in Mexico City. And that was the thing. I think Mexico just had this kind of confidence to them of like, we're just going to play our games.
Yeah.
We aren't going to force anything, but we're still going to try. We're not going to just park the bus from the beginning of the game. We're still going to try to get our goals.
For sure.
And the first goal, especially, I really just wanted to shout out the first 2, but that first one too, to go with what I was saying about it being agonizing. It was a player had it in the middle. There was 2 guys on him. He made a crazy like turning play to get away. And then he has a player running. And this is actually going to be, I'm going to just say my guy's name and dudes right now. Mateo Chavez, Tocayo. My name is Mateo. I know. I go by Casillas. My first name is Mateo.
We're learning so much lore.
I know, yeah.
This partners and who and your legal government name.
Ashton's actually a wife, not just a partner.
Yes, exactly.
But so Mateo Chavez, he comes running out. The guy in the middle passed. I'm blanking on who had it in the middle, but he passed it to Mateo Chavez, and he has just he essentially has Czechia's entire side to himself, just running straight for the goal. No, there is one player that comes and tries to slide, and he does just a side step away, but while still in stride. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing of the agony, because you see that player and you're like, oh, he's going to slide tackle him. The play is going to be dead. Right. But once he gets through to that, now, like I was watching it with Brenda, we are just like standing up like, oh, something's happening, because now he only has the goalie to beat. And it wouldn't, it wouldn't be a shocker if the goalie blocked it or
but the chances are exponentially
higher. Exactly. And you feel the like, oh, something might be happening, and he scores a beautiful goal off this breakaway. And this is part of my guy name and dude section, or why I wanted to shout him out. He runs straight to the corner, which is what a lot of players do, and points out people. They usually point out their family or someone in the stands, and he's just cheering and pointing them out. Later, I got to see a view from where he was pointing in the stands, and it was his family. It was like his dad, his brothers, his mom, and stuff. And I had seen that. So his dad also was a professional soccer player, and he had said that his greatest regret for his career was that he never got to play for Mexico in the World Cup. Wow. And Mateo Chavez, he's on the team, but he's not a starter. He comes off the bench. This was a game that they didn't need, so they played a lot of more of their reserves. And he comes out and scores and points straight at his dad, because he's essentially telling his dad, like, hey, you didn't get selected for Mexico, but I'm scoring this goal for you. This is
for you.
And it was just beautiful. And you see his dad took off his shirt, was waving it, he's crying, and it's just like,
that's so sweet.
It's a beautiful thing. And it was also funny that afterwards, I didn't know this, him and Hormiga, the guy that plays for Chivas, they grew up together. Like they played since they were a kid, and they both played on Chivas. He now, I think, plays in New Zealand or one of the a different league. He no longer but he's guys starting Chivas with Hormiga, and then they had said that before the World Cup, when he thought Hormiga was going to get a goal, he's like, when you get a goal, let's do the Dragon Ball Z fusion pose. Well, one thing about Mexicans, love Dragon Ball Z. Like, oh my God, I don't know how many Dragon Ball Z piñatas I've seen or like book bags. It's just part of the culture. I think it's bigger than, I don't want to say if it was from Japan or China, but I think it's bigger in Mexico at this point, because they love it. But Mateo Chavez got to get his goal first, and they did the celebration together, and that was just so cool. Beautiful. So everything about this, I was just so hyped, and now they move on to the next round, and I'm so excited. I got the Mexico hat on, and it's just
undefeated in this entire, not only undefeated, but winning all 3 of their games.
Only one of 3 teams that did it. It was Mexico, Argentina, and France.
Yes,
I believe are the only
totally
3 teams that
really, really impressive, and to do it on home soil, just like it's like as much as you want to make a run later, it's almost like it's all gravy. Like it seems like what a fantastic start to this tournament, and to hopefully to have this hope, but also just like to ensure the the enjoyment of the fans for all 3 of their home games and 100%. Stuff, just really beautiful stuff.
Yeah, no, it's so cool. And I'm trying to I'm hyped, but I'm trying to not think about it. I know tomorrow I'm going to just be nervous all day, but right now I'm just on a high, and then tomorrow I'll feel the anxiety.
Of course. Yeah.
But great game.
And then we had a surprising one to end the night. South Africa versus South Korea. A lot of people thought South Korea kind of had this in the bag, and then South Africa came out and won this game 1-0.
Dude, and essentially just knocked out South Korea.
Yeah, really impressive. I mean, so South Africa starting off to pretty horrendous start, losing 2-0 against Mexico at home in literally the opening game, having 2 red cards. Then they draw in their second game, and then they win. And so it's like
just
you see this kind of this impressive movement of this young South African team. So
and then it caused South Korea's manager to resign.
That's right. Yeah. It's the fallout. Unfortunately,
yeah, a lot of things going on with South Korea and their team that we'll see next World Cup how they're shaking out.
How they answer. Yeah. Then the next day, Thursday, June 25th, we had Curaçao versus Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast won this one 2-0. Not much of a shock right there because, again, Curaçao is one of those, what you call them? Happy to be here.
Yeah, happy to be there.
That's right. Then the next one, we had Ecuador versus Germany. Germany had already won the group at this point, and so they threw in their second or third rotation, whatever it might be. And so Ecuador ended up pulling out the win with this one, 2-1.
Yeah, it's so funny now being in our present state.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Germany.
We're Germany's fine. Whatever. Little do they know.
Actually, this might have been a precursor to you guys weren't as locked in as you thought you were.
Exactly. Yeah. And then a similar outcome with Japan versus Sweden. Sweden was fighting for their way into the group or into the round of 32, but Japan was already looking pretty confident that they were going to make it in some capacity. And so honestly, they both wound up with a pretty, I think, equitable result right there, because they ended up tying 1-1.
They were just
neither of them.
Everyone was happy with the result.
Exactly. Yeah. It seemed like a good spot to be in.
Yeah.
Then we had Tunisia versus Netherlands. Netherlands, of course, pulled off the win 3-1. Tunisia had been eliminated at this point, so it wasn't too much of a shock at that point. And then we had Türkiye against USA, which was a quasi-surprising game in certain respects, and then not at all in others.
Yeah, I have no idea how to feel coming out of this.
It's something that you take, I think, as much or as little as you want out of it, because, spoiler alert, Türkiye ended up winning this one 3-2 against the USA. Mm-hmm. Pretty incredible last-second goal from them, might I add, literally in stoppage time. With
it was very
less than
back
a minute.
And forth for most of it.
It was, yeah, and I guess the thing to take with it is that the U.S.'s main starters were not starting this time around. They had a lot.
Pulisic did come out.
Pulisic came out, and that was a good sign, because I feel like he added some much needed intensity.
I'm sure also he wanted to get some
get some reps in. Yeah, exactly. Being out from the game prior. But I think that obviously Türkiye was playing for pride more than anything. They had all their starters out there. They had been kind of criticized by their media, so I think that it was very much like a way to come home, not the complete laughingstock that a lot of people were making them out to be. Yeah. So, and obviously U.S. has much larger aspirations, given the fact that they had won their previous games.
Play the game.
Exactly. And so we're not going to get injured. We're not going to throw out, any too many red cards or yellow cards or anything like that. Like, there's too much at stake. Yeah. And so I do think ultimately they could have won this game, but I don't think that was necessarily a priority, because they had already literally won the group, so there was no reason for it. There was one guy that I needed. He was in your same vein. He is my guys, name and dudes guy of the week. Of course, borderline hometown hero Sebastian Berhalter.
I was wondering if he was going to be your guy.
I loved it. He was great. So he's the first USMNT player to record an assist and a goal in the same World Cup game.
No way.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking like, oh, that seems like a basic stat, but yeah, he had an assist on the first goal and then ended up heading in the second goal from a set piece corner kick.
That was beautiful.
And it was beautiful. And I really loved, honestly, his attitude afterwards, because instead of celebrating with the team, he had the ball and he ran it back to the center of the field and he was like, let's go. You know, like he tied it up and he was ready to get everybody back into the swing of things to try to win it. And so that attitude was really admirable. And I got to mention too, this man is like the hottest guy I think I've ever seen. I've seen it. I know I made it clear from the start. This is by no question am I looking for anything Sebastian out there, but Sebastian, I just need to commend you for your God-given looks, because truthfully, I've like every single picture that I see of him, he's like mogging the camera, and he's he just looks fantastic. And he's got a great dad who's also the coach of our team. So got to give a shout out right there. So needed to point that out. He was going to be my guy of the week no matter what, I think.
If you didn't point it out, someone would have.
I'm doing the hard work here.
Seriously.
So I needed to.
Doing the work.
Right. And then we ended the night with Paraguay versus Australia, which was a really, really incredible game.
Don't lie to them.
Nah, I was I was obviously locked into the U.S. versus Türkiye. This was going on at the same exact time. I was not locked into Paraguay versus Australia, but
neither I nor Danny took part in that game. Exactly. We were watching the USA game.
Yeah, but that ended in a 0-0 draw, which didn't affect the teams too much because it just kept them in the same spot, and they both ended up making the round of 32. So good for them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, let me speed round the Friday, June 26th games. France versus Norway, on paper, a very cool game. Neither of the teams really playing for anything. So France scored 4, Norway scored 1.
France had their starters out there. They had Mbappe and Dembele. They had a few other.
Dembele got a hat. This was the hat trick.
Dembele had a hat trick in this game, he looked great. But also it was like Norway was playing their B team, and so it was like, I don't know how much. Again, it was that Türkiye problem. There were a lot of games like that where it was like, I don't know what to take of this.
Right.
You know?
It was essentially like a high level practice for France.
Right.
So take what you will from that.
They look really scary. Regardless.
Yeah, and good for Dembele. You love Dembele, one of your favorite players. Yeah. So we were both happy to see him get that hat trick. Yeah. Then we got Senegal versus Iraq. Senegal got 5 on Iraq to their 0. Iraq was already out, and again, just happy to be there. Right. Shout out Senegal for scoring 5 though. Like,
oh shoot, I didn't put the score for this one. You can skip to the next one.
Then we got Uruguay versus Spain. Where Uruguay did not get any goals and Spain got 1, which essentially knocked out Uruguay. And we were talking about this. The news out of that was that post their loss and elimination, they canceled the charter flight home. And there's been speculation of like, is it because they were mad at them for losing, or it was also like a bunch of players are probably like, well, I'm gonna just go on my vacation now with my all my family's here. Oh, we're in, where was that game at? In Mexico. Right. We're actually going to Cancun after this. Yeah. So it's probably a mixture of that and also kind of disappointment of like, hey, maybe we don't want to all fly back together. We're kind of upset, but it's still just kind of crazy to hear that they were like, all right, you guys lost. Good luck getting home.
Then we had Cabo Verde versus Saudi Arabia. That was again another 0-0 0-0 draw. Saudi Arabia had at this point been eliminated with that result.
But Cabo Verde,
they have made it to the round of 32.
They leave with a clean sheet. They
had two scored on them, but they had all draws.
Yeah,
so they were
able to, there it is.
They're undefeated. Technically.
Undefeated. Yes. Shout out that goalie.
Very impressive. Third smallest country to ever make the World Cup. So really, really happy to be here. Unfortunately, they have the worst matchup of all time.
Yeah,
they're facing Argentina this week.
Hey,
so
we just saw Paraguay beat Germany. I'm not going to say anything, but
we'll see. We'll see. Anything can happen.
Sometimes Cinderella stories have to strike midnight.
They do. They do.
Then we had Egypt versus Iran, which was a 1-1 draw, but Egypt got through.
Yeah, dude. Iran, they had almost the winning goal at the end that was pulled away from VAR, and it's you can't argue with it. It's like definitely they had the systems and stuff, but it's literally like a toe difference of it. It's so disappointing, and then of course it wasn't enough for Iran to stay in the competition, so they unfortunately had to go home, which just really props to them for all this the BS that they had to deal with throughout this entire competition, and hope to see them again in 2030 because
seriously
they were a good team. They were better than I think that anybody gave them credit for. So.
Yeah, that was really beautifully put. I think I'm more just like, let's go Egypt.
So
I'm glad you said that because I was not going to say any of that. And then the last game of that day was New Zealand versus Belgium, where Belgium beat New Zealand 5-1.
They whooped them.
Yeah, Belgium finally showing up.
I know. I feel like this was honestly a little scary. But they were, for a long time, they seemed a little bit complacent throughout this entire tournament. But, but that knocked out New Zealand. They were one of the 16 eliminated from the group stages.
Hey, I don't know if they're happy to be their team, but they're close. They're on the border.
Yeah, they're on the border. Yeah,
because they love their rugby, so they got stuff that they're rooting for.
Yeah, for sure. Saturday, June 27th, we had Panama versus England. England pulling off the win with this one 2-0. Not much else to say about that one. Again, this was England had secured the group and Panama didn't. So Panama was eliminated.
They had already secured the group at this point.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Virtually. I think that they had secured. They didn't win the group,
but they were
at
through.
This point, but they were through. Yeah.
I think it was also to like just because they had just tied with Ghana, so I think it was like, hey, we're still here. Don't worry.
Right. Yeah. They still had 4 points, which I think like there was, if you had 4 points throughout this entire thing, there was like a 96% chance of you making it to the round of 32.
Right.
But it was, this was a good definitive, like, yep, we won. Great analysis. Then we had Croatia versus Ghana. Croatia pulling off the win against Ghana and scoring on Ghana for the first time throughout the 3 games that Ghana had played previously. They had been scoreless or goalless the entire time, but Croatia scored 2 on them as opposed to Ghana's 1, and so Croatia pulled off the win with that. But both teams were able to qualify for the round of 32 afterwards.
So everyone was happy with that one, really.
Yeah.
Then we had Colombia versus Portugal, so 1-1 draw. I was watching this game. It was very evenly matched. I thought
so too. I was pretty impressed with Colombia.
Yeah,
they look like like a new dark horse. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody was really talking about them in the same way that in like a controversial way, like where people were saying like, I could see Turkey going this far, whatever. Sure. But it was impressive to see Colombia put up such a strong-willed fight against Portugal, and obviously coming away with the draw is, I think, a win in their book and maybe a loss in Portugal's. But also, I think Portugal is far from a perfect team too.
Yeah, they have a lot of questions. Yeah, mainly Ronaldo. So.
Ronaldo? Question mark. Or the next game we had was DR Congo versus Uzbekistan. DR Congo pulling off the win 3-1.
Let's go.
And Uzbekistan was sent home packing. But of course, this was again another one of those examples of happy to be here. This was their debut, so really props to Uzbekistan for all their stuff. And obviously, DR Congo, we're already automatically fans for Lumumba.
Yeah.
And so
it's awesome that they were able to get those goals.
It's great. Yeah. So now they're going on to the round of 32. So props to them.
He gets to stand for 90 more minutes.
Dude. And maybe even more if they're lucky.
Let's hope. Then we got Algeria versus Austria, 3-3.
This was something.
You can actually speak on this one.
Oh, yeah. You do the next one, yeah.
Well, I'll just... The Jordan versus Argentina, there wasn't a lot going on. Argentina just looked really good, looked really smooth. I actually stepped away and didn't realize that got Mexico on the brain. Messi came in because he wasn't playing, but he subbed on and got not a penalty, like a foul from outside
Free
the box.
kick,
Free
right?
kick.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
a free
yeah.
kick. Thank you. Goal. That was just this. He just can't be stopped. He is magical Messi.
Breaking his continuous record of the most goals of World Cup history.
As a substitute,
As
like
a
he
sub.
played so little minutes and still it's just insane. And that's the only thing I could get from that game. But Algeria versus Austria, please.
Yeah, this one was a lot of fun. So Algeria and Austria both vying for a spot within the round of 32. I think that Algeria had a pretty good chance, and then Austria needed to at least tie this game in order to make it in. And so the stakes couldn't be higher for them. And throughout the entire game, it was a really good back and forth. And then by the very end of the game, it was tied 2-2. And then going into stoppage time, Algeria scores, and it's 3-2. Suddenly, Austria is 4 minutes away from elimination. And what do? But they get collected and they head it in. And part of me wonders if Algeria was like, you know what, we'll help you out or whatever. There was like that
I was
wondering
if you.
But it was
so
fun. It was so fun to see their celebrations, and obviously like this got them into the round of 32. This unfortunately knocked out Iran. So for a good 2 to 3 minutes, Iran thought that they were going to be able to continue on because of Austria's loss, but unfortunately it knocked them out, which is a huge bummer. But really props to Austria.
I had seen a thing too that I think Algeria, like someone said, like, hey, if we tie, we actually get someone else or something. They might have been like, hey, let's help them out a little. But that's also all theorizing.
Of course,
people lip reading and stuff. Like, is that what they were saying?
Right,
Easy to say after the fact. We don't know. Everyone's it's in the World Cup. You're playing your hearts out every minute because you're in the World Cup. So,
and I don't think either of these teams, anyone is expecting to go on a really long run.
Right.
So I don't know if there's too much to be mad about it, but also we're not in the room. We're not talking to people.
Not our fights.
And that was the end of the group stages. And
amazing
suddenly,
group stage.
there wasn't even like any break.
Next
day, it was just
day.
like round of 32, sudden death. And it was like, and that's why I was saying from the jump, I'm like, oh, holy crap. Like,
it's already happened.
This is like, teams are getting eliminated and then they're dropping like flies, immediately. So this was crazy. I don't know if you were able to watch some of this.
I was working yesterday. I didn't realize there was only one game that I was like, oh,
this was bizarre because all these other days have 3 games and this is the only one that has 1. It's like what? But and it's not like it's a premier matchup between like 2 teams. By the way, Canada versus South Africa, 2 teams that have never made it past made it to a knockout stage in the World Cup. So really
historic for both of them.
Both of them. Yeah, it was great. And like neither of them were like, experienced in this regard. South Africa defending for the majority of the game, obviously our boy Mboase from the Chicago Fire. He put on a show. I was watching the English broadcasters for this time, mostly because I was curious about what they were going to say about Mboase.
For sure.
And they could not stop talking about this guy. He was like the one guy that they kept talking about. Yeah, he had some incredible plays, but they were like, oh, he's like, he's playing for the MLS, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's in Europe in the next month or whatever. And I'm like, God.
Yeah, like, no, he's here.
Yeah, I'm like,
we have Lewandowski.
Yeah, exactly.
We're good.
Exactly. At least for the rest of the year, please. But yeah, he put on a show. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to stop Canada from scoring 1 goal in the beginning of stoppage time, which basically gave South Africa no time to answer.
But a host country stays on.
That's right. Yeah. Ironically, being played in LA. But,
because of how not poor. I don't want to say how poorly they did in the group stage because they made it through, but because they didn't do as well as perhaps was expected or what they felt that they should have. Like Mexico gets to play their round of 32 game in Mexico.
Right.
USA gets to play their round of 32 game in USA. Canada did not get to play their round of 32 game in Canada because they did not get enough in their group stages. So they had to play this in California, but they still won. So
So props to them. It was an interesting post-game thing. Jesse Marsh, the coach of Canada, made his post-game speech on the field with the team instead of it like privately in the locker room. And so there was like some, I don't know. There was some controversy. He's obviously not without controversy.
Every time I hear anything about him,
there's always like a hot take with him. And some people, I saw even especially some like U.S. Commentators were talking like, why are you doing this for the cameras? Like, do it for the private, keep it private, keep it for the, whatever. And I don't know. Interesting stuff. I don't necessarily have an opinion on either side of it, but I just thought it was an interesting thing to come of it.
Good for them.
And again, really, really major props to Mboise for having just an incredible game. Some of the
showed
stuff,
a lot.
Yeah. So hopefully it wasn't too good that we lose him.
Right.
But yeah, really exciting.
We're too happy to have him.
That's right. Which brings us to today.
Yeah.
Which, other than the Paraguay game against Germany, we had Brazil versus Japan.
Yeah, and Brazil came away with that 2-1.
Wow. Man.
I was unfortunately working, but I got to see the highlights of it, and just some good goals all around. I mean, Japan got the first one, and you thought like, okay, maybe like very similar to a Paraguay-Germany situation.
Yeah.
But Brazil was able to pull off their 2 goals, with their second one being in the 91st minute, just
right at the tail end. It was the same thing with Canada, where it's just like, oh, there's just no chance to respond.
Yeah. And
they were knocking on their door the entire game, though, so it really didn't seem like
how
Japan.
crazy would that have been though if both Germany and Brazil were both gone.
And I really enjoyed. I feel like Japan was dealt such a bad hand right away.
They looked good. They were fun. The fans. Everything about Japan throughout this World Cup has been
a lot of fun.
Been really cool.
And props to the fans too. They cleaned up even though they lost.
Really?
They cleaned up after.
I didn't even see that.
I was like, dude, you don't need to do that. You can just go home, man.
That's awesome. I did have one question for you in regards to this game that I was just curious your opinion on. What gets you going? What tickles your pickle more? A fantastic run to a goal. It's like a fantastic shot, but like a run going into the shot, and the shot, all of it together is just like, wow, that was beautiful. Or a fantastic stop by a goalkeeper.
Oh,
what do you think? It just really is like,
honestly,
gets you out of your seat.
Yeah, honestly, I think a fantastic stop.
Really?
Yeah, because goals are fun, but when you're watching a game and a team goes up by 2, I feel like all the air gets pulled out of the stadium, even if it's majority, So Brazil playing Scotland, right?
Yeah.
85% Brazil fans.
Yeah.
They go up 2-0, 3-0, and they're like, all right. It's like there's no reason to cheer anymore. There's no there's not the drama with it. Obviously it's not necessarily like a full release in like a celebration and stuff. Like there is that value, and obviously I'm not gonna like say I don't want a goal for the team, especially if I'm rooting for them.
Right.
But the stopping of a goal, especially one that seems inevitable, is always like, whoa, to me. It blows my mind that you were able to get your hands on it.
That's a great point.
Like, a tackle that doesn't end up in turning into a penalty, but was able to stop the play. That is such a fine line. Yeah. So like I find those very impressive, and I know that there's a lot of people that would disagree with me. I think that there's also different versions of that defense and the quote unquote stopping.
Right.
Too.
It's a very broad question, because it's like there's so many other detail that could happen. I only asked because Vinny Jr., I don't know if you saw this, he had a run that was so good. Like he basically took on the entire
hit the post.
And it kind of like it like bounced right off.
Yeah.
And in the moment, like just seeing it like just play out, I thought he just hit the post.
Oh, sure.
But the goalkeeper did get a hand on it that made it touch the post.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It was, and I didn't even see that at first. And then afterwards, I'm like, man, this is such a good stop. But I was a little disappointed because the run and the shot was so nice that it like, if he had scored it, it would have gone down as one of the best of this World Cup.
Sure.
I don't want to get into like the history of the World Cup or anything.
Sure.
But even the announcers were like, that was almost one of the best goals we ever seen, because the run into the shot was so good. And like, it was almost, obviously the goalkeeper, the reaction time, but it just felt also a little lucky that he got his hand was there at the right, because it wasn't like he dove in front of it. That it didn't even look like he stopped it in real time. But it was just like his hand was there and it was able to just lodge it just enough to like move around. And so I think I agree with you because a stop can really get the entire crowd going.
For sure.
But a beautiful goal is just a beautiful goal.
Absolutely. And I'm totally with you there. I think that it's time and place probably in my opinion. Because if a beautiful goal happens and it makes it 1-0, that is completely different than a beautiful goal happening and making it 4-0 or something.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
So
that makes,
I guess that's
very
where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
So if it's a back and forth and like there's like a almost, and then it doesn't happen, that I feel like kind of creates more tension.
Yeah.
That when the inevitable goal happens, the payoff is higher.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a tease, you know? By staying PG. But
okay. Well, yeah, I was just curious and I think that was a very nuanced answer. I think I was just bummed because I also really like Vinny Jr. and I just love that play. And I'm like, right now it was cool that I got to see it, but I'm sure it's not gonna, because it wasn't a goal scoring play, it's not gonna go down as like great play. And that's the tough part about it. But
for sure,
you know, it was a good stop.
Well, should we see what's coming up?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Stuff is barreling towards us like immediately, and it's kind of overwhelming. It's crazy to think that this time next week when we're meeting again to talk about it, we're gonna have half of the round of 16.
That's crazy.
Over half will have been played. So
yeah.
Crazy to be happening so quickly. Let's see what's coming up for the round of 32, though. Obviously, right now is Netherlands versus Morocco.
Yep.
I don't even want to check the score because I don't want to.
Yeah, no spoilers.
No spoilers yet, you know. But that's going on right now, and then tomorrow.
Me?
Go for it.
Okay, we'll go back and forth on the days.
Yeah, that's great.
Tuesday, June 30th, we have Ivory Coast versus Norway, Sweden versus France, and then Ecuador versus Mexico.
Oh, yeah, baby. Then Wednesday, July 1st, we have England versus DR Congo, Belgium versus Senegal, and USA versus Bosnia and Herzegovina.
I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. All right, then we got Thursday, July 2nd. We got Spain versus Austria, then Croatia versus Portugal. That should be good.
It's the Modric and Ronaldo reunion right there.
One last job. Switzerland versus Algeria will end that day.
And then Friday, July 3rd is the end already of the round of 32, which is insane to me.
End of the week.
I know, it's crazy. Australia versus Egypt, Argentina versus Cabo Verde, and Ghana versus Colombia. So honestly, this is where things get interesting, not only because of the sudden death, but also I feel like these matchups really, you have a little bit more of an idea. Obviously, we do, watching all these different games and stuff and discussing them. We have a lot more of an idea of what to expect.
Yeah.
Versus a lot of these other ones, it's like a lot of teams come in, obviously, and they have all this hype, but until you see them on the field, on the pitch, then it's like,
you don't know.
Who's to say?
Yeah.
So, and then I figured I would just go ahead and throw out the stuff that's coming on Saturday and Sunday. Obviously, we don't have the specifics of each team, but there's going to be 2 games on Saturday and 2 games on Sunday. The round of 32 winners for the first game is going to be Canada versus either Netherlands or Morocco, whoever wins tonight. Then the second game that night is, I actually don't know. I did not write it down.
Another round of 16.
Another round of 16. There you go. Then the next day on Sunday is going to be Brazil versus whoever wins Ivory Coast and Norway. And I haven't updated it for Germany, but obviously Germany or Paraguay.
Yeah,
dude.
so you're already penciling in Germany.
That's crazy. That's crazy. They're going to be there in some capacity. So 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday, and then 2 games Monday. We'll hopefully be able to see the first game on Monday, and we can discuss about that, and then continue on.
That'll be so exciting.
Crazy.
Real quick before we leave, just if you guys are going to some watch parties for either Mexico or USA, and people are like, who are these teams that they're playing? Just some quick stuff. USA is going to play B&H, Bosnia, and
Herzegovina.
Thank you.
It's like Hertz. That's like the big one. Hertz.
Govina. Okay, so that's who they will be playing. They their national team was actually formed in 1993 after their breakup with Yugoslavia. That makes sense.
European history right there.
Their nickname is the Dragons, which is pretty cool.
That's baller.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah.
This will be their second World Cup. So this is only
really?
their second World
Wow,
Cup.
I didn't realize.
Their first was in 2014 in Brazil, where they did not make it out of the group stage. So this is the first time they're making it out of the group stage. Their coach is Sergei Barbaris.
Yeah.
I don't speak Bosnian, so I hope I said that right. They are also one of those countries that their national team doesn't have Reddit community.
They're not losers.
But the country has been posting. It's been a lot of Bosnians in America and saying like,
I want to go to. Yeah, what is that chant? I don't know if you've seen that chant.
Oh yeah, I want to go to America.
Take me to America.
Yeah, take me to. I'm from Bosnia. Take me to America. There it is. I knew we'd find it.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of stuff of that on their Reddit. And then Mexico will be playing Ecuador, which this is funny. Ecuador's nickname is Latri.
What?
Which is essentially the same as Mexico's, except Mexico's is El Tri.
So
I
it's
guess
the girl version.
Yeah, Ecuador's just the feminine tricolor
they're
one.
like the She-Hulk of it all.
I didn't know we were genderizing our colors, but whatever.
That's bizarre.
I was
no idea about that.
absolutely blown by this.
Obviously different colors too.
Right. I'm trying so hard to not just hate Ecuador for no reason because they're playing Mexico. It just happens anytime another I loved the Spurs before the finals and then they played the Knicks and I was like, I hate the Spurs. But that's neither here nor there. Ecuador, I'm sure you're a beautiful
Jalen
place.
Brunson what is it? Ghost counter.
Oh yeah.
Put it up. Put it on the board.
Drink at home if Casillas has mentioned Jalen Brunson.
Or the Knicks.
Or yeah. So their nickname is Latri. So it's El Tri versus Latri, I guess.
It's crazy.
This will be their 5th World Cup. Their first was in Korea, Japan in 2002. This is actually, though, their first successive. So they didn't make it in 2018, but they did in 2022, and now have made it in 2026. Okay. So hopefully this is a run for them. They missed out on a couple, but they're back in a successive streak right now, but only their 5th. In 2006, though, they made it to the round of 16. That was in Germany. So that was the farthest they've ever gone.
Okay.
So pretty cool. Their coach is Sebastian. I'm going to butcher this. Basasa Sisi. Bakaka Sisi.
I was thinking, I was like, I have no idea. I have no idea. But Bakaka Chit.
Maybe it's a Chit. But Bakaka.
Becca, it's basically spelled Becca CC.
Becca CC. That is their.
It literally might be Becca CC now that I think of it. Oh no, CC would be II, right? Wouldn't it?
That's That's
CC, so Becca Cheche.
Becca
Cheche.
Right? I think you're right.
Becca Cheche.
Becca
Sebastian
Cheche.
Becca Cheche.
Sebastian Becca Cheche.
Sebastian Becca Cheche. It sounds very Italian.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess he could be. Mauricio Pochettino is Italian.
Yeah.
And he coaches for the U.S. So.
Very good point.
Yeah.
And then let me just real quick. I think they
do have a Reddit, or no? Is it a national one?
They are also a national one.
They're not losers.
And they just don't talk about soccer a lot in there.
Wasn't their top post the lo-fi girl again?
Oh yeah, this is the second country now where they didn't have their national team didn't have a Reddit community, so their country team, and I try to look up their country's community page on Reddit, and they just had a Ecuadorian lo-fi girl, which is the second time that has happened. It's kind of weird, but lo-fi girl, she's international. She's worldwide.
She's getting she's Mrs. Worldwide.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So if you're at any World Cup USA or Mexico viewing parties, those are the teams they're facing. And if you want to mention anything, L3, not for any masculine or feminine things, but L3 above Latri.
Latri. Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, and going up against each other, no less.
Dude, I'm so nervous. Be a lot of fun. It's starting to set in now.
It's really, it's coming. It's getting close.
I think before it was just the podcast that I was thinking about, and now I'm like,
we'll be at halftime this time tomorrow.
Oh my gosh,
so it's gonna be big. Hey, I'll end it on a
please
a thought.
Yes.
Okay. So obviously, we got a lot of enjoyment from all these Europeans and also just folks just from around the world, not exclusively Europeans. I feel like that's always been that's been the blanket term, but it's like there's so many other people from around the world coming to the U.S. to watch the World Cup too. I don't know why we're all suddenly Europeans, or they are rather. But I do need to pull this up. And we don't need to spend much time on it, but I'm starting to wonder how much of this is fake. Those instances of Europeans going like, "Oh, welcome to Costco." Like, I love it here so much, and it's like, okay, grocery stores.
Dude.
Honestly, there was one where it was like, someone was like, "Oh, do all of your sunsets look like this? And it's like, do you not have sunsets in Sweden, Denmark, Germany, wherever the hell you're from? I'm starting to get a little suspicious that they're engagement baiting.
You know what it was for me?
Dumb Americans. What was it?
And I could be just completely wrong.
Yeah.
Ranch.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There's no ranch anywhere else in the world.
So I can understand feeling like, oh, this is kind of like a fun novelty, but the craze around it, I'm impressed with how.
This is also, I don't really like ranch. I hope we don't lose followers.
That's a hot tag.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not a huge ranch person. I'm sorry. Nice. I respect and appreciate everyone that loves ranch, but just to be like, this is the greatest thing I've ever tasted in my life.
Yeah, it's like, hello. But then again, I mean, I can see it for certain, like not a surprise from the UK,
Sure. Yeah.
But someone from France or
right.
Spain or Italy,
delicious
it's like
foods out there.
Okay, yeah.
And ranch is doing it for you?
I don't know.
That's a great point. This is
I don't know. It's been interesting to me, and obviously there's a lot of like genuine people out there that are having the time of their lives and just having this stuff. But I'm thinking like I'm calling a little sus.
That is so. You got me thinking
Among
now.
Us, reference right there.
Oh,
so,
man.
Just food for thought.
Food for thought.
Give you something to gnaw on throughout the week while you're enjoying these games.
So much on this podcast.
Yeah, nothing to sneeze at and food for thought, right? Just all week, every week. Listen, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate your support. We've been posting some more videos on Instagram and TikTok, so if you're not following us there, we're gonna keep going with some content there. Keeping up with some of the schedule of games coming up, and we're hoping to keep it going with all of the MLS stuff coming up at the end of this summer. So thank you again all for your support.
Everyone.
Appreciate it.
I'm gonna start my goal low.
Okay,
and go high, so.
let's hear it.
Goal!